Alex Hormozi just made $100 million in under 24 hours. And in this video, I'm going to break down exactly how he's done that and why you should give a shit. Or maybe not. But yeah, let's get into it. So first, who is Alex Hormozi? By age 32, Alex and his wife crossed $100 million in their net worth. I know Alex Hormozi as a serial entrepreneur and through content. So he makes a lot of content, business kind of breakdowns. Well, business concept breakdowns and everything business, to be honest, but like all in simple terms, nothing too crazy, but straight to the point, very direct. And I think on YouTube, this is probably like the biggest guy in the space right now. But this is my go-to guy anyway. So yes, how he actually made the $100 million. Wow, he just released a new book called $100 Million Money Models. And if you've been following him for a while, you'll see that he's got a few other books, the leads version, the offers version. But what money models actually is, in his words or terms, is basically increasing the lifetime value of a customer. So the lifetime value is how much that customer spends with you over their lifetime. It's usually measured within a year, so within about 12 months. But let me go through actually how he even like launched and made the money. So the actual launch was on a webinar, and he got traffic to that launch for a number of different ways. So on the webinar, he actually broke down, he's got like over 1 million people on his email list. So that was a main form that he could drive traffic through. He also ramped up ads to about 500K per day. So that was another channel that he got traffic through. And to be fair, if you saw the ads as well, and this is what I find interesting about like even like ads sometimes, they're kind of dead sometimes, but they do the job. So that's neither here nor there. And also remember, he's got the YouTube channel with over 3.6 million subscribers. So that's obviously a great way to kind of get an engaged audience to the webinar as well. So he was promoting it for quite a few weeks, to be honest. Like I've been getting emails non-stop and all sorts. But as I said, the launch was a webinar, and how the kind of, I'm not sure if you've been on a webinar before or whatever, but how he kind of broke it down is he gave like value first and then sold later, in long story short. But the webinar went on for about 5, 6, 7 hours, and then he even did the next day and the next day again, but we're going to get into all of that. So how he actually made the money and what he's actually offering, or what is he actually selling? Because he said that it's a book launch, but was it really a book launch? What he was actually selling, the book is basically a lead gen to get people into what he's actually selling, and which that actually is a high ticket offer, which kind of gives you his playbook to you for $6,000, and there's an upsell on there for $18,000. But his whole thesis around even like content, business value, marketing, that kind of thing is give the value away for free, give the education away for free, but charge for the implementation. So before he released any of this thing, he was doing for the last 2 years what he calls unscalable consulting. And I find this quite interesting because a lot of like entrepreneurs always talk about, oh, what's the most scalable way? How can I scale this thing? And how can I? And I think everyone's kind of like caught in that, not dream, but that idea of they want to be like making money and not doing no work. Like there's a lot of people that want to be in that situation, and I can't blame you. But so it's quite interesting when people like this come along and say, actually, I was doing an unscalable version of consulting to kind of get me to where I'm offering this today. And what that meant is, as well as is putting out content, getting leads through the content, but for people that are qualified for what he's offering in person, they could come to his HQ in Las Vegas for, I think he had a few different like offers around that, but like let's say for example for 2 days, and learn from him with a group of 50 other entrepreneurs in that room. And for that, I think he is charging up to about $50,000 for that. Don't quote me on the actual price, because I think he did have a few offers around that kind of in-person consulting, and it ranged. But that kind of range is what we're talking about. So the reason why he's done that, and why he said he's done that, is to collect data to actually find out what the entrepreneurs are struggling with. So I think he had like over the 2 years, over 2,000 entrepreneurs come in and sign up to that offer, where he can kind of break down exactly what everyone's struggling with, what problems they're facing, to kind of enhance what he's created today, which we're going to get onto. So that's the first thing that I found quite interesting, to be honest. And the actual offer that he did release kind of followed his premise of give away the value for free, but charge for the implementation. But I think what was quite interesting, the only implementation that is eventually scalable, it leads back to like courses and that kind of thing. And traditionally in the space, PDFs and all that kind of stuff. But what he actually done is he broke that down and put it as playbooks that he's never sold before. That's like a condensed version of the in-person consulting. But instead of his team having to like do the implementation for you, you can read these playbooks, follow the checklist, and be able to get the results. Like, long story short, no bullshit, no a million pages to read in a book or anything like that. It's like straight to the point. If you're struggling with a problem, look for it in a book, see what the book says, and just follow the checklist, and then you're gonna get the outcome. That's how he sold it. So that's what he's actually selling for, $6,000. The way how he positioned it is it's a donation for 200 of his books that he's releasing, the $100 million money models. And why he's done that is for a number of reasons. First of all, a donation is a tax write-off for businesses. So the business audience that he's reaching, it's kind of a no-brainer. You can buy this and you can write off this as a tax write-off. So that's the first thing. The donation angle's like, I've gave away value for so many years. This is like your way to kind of give back, and not give back to me, but also give back to other entrepreneurs. So you can get 200 books and you can keep one and donate 199 to other people. Another reason why he bundled up the 200 books is to kind of be able to sell so many books in a short space of time that it can beat the Guinness World Record for number of non-fiction books that were sold in 24 hours. And he blew that out the park. I think the record was 1.3 million books sold, and he sold over like 2.5 million books within the 24 hours. Another reason is the book. When you're donating those to people, that's actually introducing a new audience of people to your content, because you got to remember, books are still a form of content. So that's introducing a new set of people to the whole infrastructure. And that's like the lowest form of like a lead magnet, where that's going to introduce you to his way of thinking. You're going to like the content, so then you're going to check him out on YouTube. Then you might check out what else he has to offer. And also, he done that old traditional method of the book's free, but you just pay for shipping. So that kind of pays for the books itself. So even though he's saying it's a donation and you're donating these to 199 people, they still have to pay for shipping. So that's going to pay for the books itself. So really he's charging $6,000 for the playbooks and all the bonuses that he had along with that as well. And there's also an upsell for $18,000 where you can donate 800 books. And I think you get a few other bonuses that was on the live webinar at the time. So, and also remember, all of this stuff is just information, just selling information. So it's super high margin stuff. So when he's making over $100 million, a lot of that is profit, which is crazy. And he used all the typical tactics, urgency, scarcity, scarcity rather, on live webinar. So if you're buying today, you're going to get this included as well. There's only 25,000 of these available. So you do the maths, 25,000 times $6,000. You do the maths and let me know what you think. So that it's got that as well, and all these things. So that kind of set him up for amazing launch, which he kind of took advantage of, which I think is great, to be fair. But the controversy, this is kind of, when I went on Twitter, I saw a lot of like I follow quite a lot of marketers on Twitter, and I just see it on my timeline anyway. And I can't lie, without sugarcoating it, a lot of people were hating, this straight hating. I'm gonna show you exactly what they were saying on Twitter, and let's just break down exactly what it is. So I took a screenshot of a few other things. So this was the actual landing page that he was selling the offer on. I can't go into it at the moment because he's now took it down. It's been 36 hours since he launched it, so that's the end of that. Someone said Hormozi positioning $6,000 offer as donation got to be the greatest thing I've seen someone too excited for. That's funny. 3 years I've I have nothing to tell you to make 75 plus in 4 hours. Well played. And you can't be mad at it, man. Like, do you know what I mean? Everything's a sale. Going back to this, everything's a sale though. Even if you're not selling anything and it's just content, you're still selling the content and selling your personality and selling the brand. Like, still, everything's a sale. Huge respect for Hormozi for the numbers he puts in his launch. But let's be honest, all the info, insights he shared were meh. And that's the first kind of tweet where I'm thinking, interesting. Hormozi's biggest accomplishment is selling the dream to thousands of people that did actually have the ability to read a book from start to finish. Easily one of the best marketers in the world, but watching a bunch of marketers believe he sold 2.3 million books in 2 hours because he put the sales counter on, says hilarious when all of you the same little feature. So basically he's saying, because he's got this live counter of how many books are being sold, he's saying, why are people believing it when everyone does this? Thinks Hormozi made more money by doing a webinar. Zero chance he done 100 million on that stream. Most of the time, far less than 100 people, 100,000 people was on the stream. The math doesn't math. Guru numbers. It's not a hate post. Long story short, these people are hated. But I find it interesting. And I find it interesting because a lot of like marketers, and I think sometimes there's a difference between people that are marketers first and business people first. And I think the big difference is marketers are always breaking down like tactics and the strategy to do this, and sometimes a lot of gimmicks and what's trending and all of these things, when we need to always go back to the basics. And the basics is like, if you're selling someone something that they need, like that's the most important thing, like just solving a problem, adding value, that kind of thing. So you see all the tactics like the scarcity and urgency, and they're breaking down the funnel, and they're like, oh, I've seen someone saying, oh, it's a basic funnel, etc., etc. All of these kind of things. I'm just laughing because it's not about that. Like it's not about that at all. It's just giving people what they need. Like all of these other things, the tactics and the funnel and perfect this, and yeah, they're gonna increase like your conversion rate, and you're gonna get an increase in what you're just gonna get a multiplier on what you're already got going on. So if what you're already selling is good, then it's gonna be even better. But if what you're selling is no good, like there's no amount of these things and tactics and tips and tricks that are gonna make your shit thing turn good. So we always have to go back to the basics and the fundamentals, and selling something that people want is the basics of this whole thing. And how he's managed to do that is by, like I said, doing the 2 years of the unscalable consulting, but not even just that, the 10 plus years previous to this, where he's been doing business, failing, learning, succeeding, and then going into different fields and doing the same thing, learning more, all the pain that you have to suffer and all the failures that you have to take on, all of these things all equate to now being able to sell something for a high amount of value in 24 hours. Like, even though it's 24 hours, this wasn't 24 hours worth of work. This is over 10, 15 years worth of work that you just managed to sell in a day. Now that you're offering it to the people that the audience that you've managed to build up over the last 3-4 years through all the value that you've been giving away, literally sharing all the game, literally. And that's what kind of sets him apart, in my opinion, because a lot of people gatekeep the information. They're trying to sell the stuff that he give away for free on YouTube. So that's why he's managed to build a massive audience. And not even just that, he's actually done the work, which a lot of people avoid. A lot of people do one thing, 3 months later, now they're teaching the method on, yo, this is how to do that thing, etc., etc. They haven't really been through enough to sell it, to sell the information. And this is the controversial thing, because the next thing is like, course sellers and that kind of thing. Everyone hates on like course sellers, but the majority of business people sell some sort of information. You're just not really available to everyone. So people sell consulting all the time, like especially if someone's done something, people sell their time, access to their meetings. All of these things is just selling information. So when I hear people like, oh, now he's just a course seller, or it's like everyone. The only people that really like hate on like course sellers are people that can't sell any sort of information, that have no value to sell. Those are the people that I think really like can't stand it, I feel. But I think everyone's selling some sort of information somehow, somewhere. Like even books, for example, you'll talk about like big business people. It could be Jeff Bezos, could be Elon Musk, it could be whatever. Like people still sell books, and books are still information. It's still the same. It's still the same thing. Like I said earlier, we're always selling something. Even if it's free content, it's always a sale. So I don't know, man. I've got nothing against it. I don't think you should hate the game, man. Or hate the player, rather. I hate the game, I suppose. And I suppose that's what they're doing. But I don't know. So yeah, and the next thing is, so what can we take away from this? And what can we actually learn from this? Because I don't think the actual takeaway is how to sell 9 figures in 24 hours. The actual takeaway that I've taken away from this is you just got to do the work. You've got to put in the more than your 10,000 hours. You've got to do your 10, 15 years of failing, learning, trying again, failing, learning, trying again, keep hitting walls and getting past these walls, because it's not really about like the money. It's more about who you become on this journey. And when you become someone of extreme value and you're valuable, then you can make these big sales because you actually are of value. So you can't skip that process. You have to actually go through that process. So yeah, you got to do your years, you got to do your hours, just so you can build up a great enough product, a great enough offer that when you're ready to sell this thing, it's going to be worth a lot. But not only that, the next important thing is the content play that he done in the last 3 years, because previously he was doing business and not making any content. Like he didn't really believe in like, oh, I didn't want to be famous, just wanted to make money and whatever. And until he realized one day that he actually he's not building up any leverage from all of these like previous successes that he's had. So content is like one of the biggest forms of leverage right now in this day and age that I think we all should take advantage of. So the next play that he done was a content play, putting out all the free game. Like he said, put out the game for free, charge for implementation on the back end. So he put out all the game, and not just even the specific stuff, because he started off in the gym kind of niche, and not even just specific stuff to gym. His thing was more top of funnel or business people now, because he's got so much experience and he's worked with a lot of different like industries. He can speak on a lot of different like business things. So that's how he was able to put out that content. And then these two together, when he's got the great value and the great content, this is what's now creating him a brand. And this brand is why he's able to even bring in so much attention to a webinar, high margins, sell everything, take home all the profit. So what I feel is a lot of marketers don't understand brand, and they don't understand brand is because it's hard to measure the value of it. Like, you know, when you can't directly tie something to a return on investment, they feel that it's not important. But just because it's not easily measurable doesn't mean it's not valuable. So I think a brand is probably the key lesson that we can all take away from this today, and maybe help us going forward to build a brand. Like, why not? So I think that's my key takeaways from all of this. That's why he was able to build so much anticipation before the launch. This is why people trust him to spend so much, like £6,000, no direct one-on-one call, just straight after webinar, or $6,000 rather. So yeah, you got to give you 10, 15 years to the game, man. Really and truly. So one final thought for the audience is, do you think this was genius execution or just a result of the 10, 15 years paying off and building a brand paying off? Let me know what you guys think in the comments.